Hello YouTube, happy Saturday, and I am back for another session with my community, all of my creatives and creatrixes and all of us folks that just love what we do in our studios and hanging out and working on the gel plate and making books and doing collage. What don't we love doing? Hi, I'm Robin McClendon. Welcome to my studio, and I have a good one planned for us today. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So we're going through my book, Gel Plate Printing for Mixed Media Art, and we finished chapter 6, which was last week, which was doing the patchwork. And as you move, those of you who have the book and you're seeing, as you move through it, there's different separators. So I have what we call explorations. And so throughout the book, I'm just exploring what you can do with the prints. Because if you're anything like me, when you first start, you're going to make tons and tons of prints. And like by now, you want to do something with them. You're not like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the end of the book and then figure out what to do. No, throughout it, I'll have these explorations where I'm just encouraging you either the art mythos for a particular chapter, like the one that we just finished, the patchwork, Art Mythos Inspiration. One of my favorite quilting exhibitions was the Quilts of G's Bin. This patchwork technique that I created on the gel plate was inspired by the particular style of quilting that these women did, which focused on color blocking. Perhaps you have your own favorite family quilt or a quilt by an artist that you love. Use that quilt or images as inspiration for the work in the patchwork technique. So throughout the book, I also have these Art Mythos inspirations. So as we move over into explorations, we're going to do something I call intuitive collage. So we don't think really hard about it. We just jump in and let the collage and the pieces talk to us. And so we just finished patchworking. I'm still inspired by patchworking. So I'm doing some more patchwork, a different style of patchwork printing. Because one of the things is in the book, I laid out a lot of techniques. And as we move through YouTube together, I'm going to add to some of the foundations of those techniques. Because I couldn't get everything in the book. I mean, actually, this book was cut by, I think, like 80 pages. So, I have a lot more techniques than what we were able to fit into the book. So I put the central ones in, the central themes. And as we work together, I'll expand on what you already see in the book. It's no need for me to actually repeat the exact technique that's done in that book. You got the book. You can see that. And we're going to add to it so that the book is foundational, but the YouTube just kind of expands the foundations that are happening in the book. And then that way, I feel like the book becomes a richer experience for everyone. Make sense? Yay. So first of all, those of you who are regulars, please hit the button, the thumb up at the beginning of the video. It's always nice because it starts the algorithms going and starts pushing it out. And more people will see this live as well. So we're on to, this was our patchworking, which I love. So we're on to our next bit. And what I wanted to do is, we already started printing over in Patreon. You guys who are on Patreon know I always jump in and we do a whole printing session around what I'm showing as a part of the YouTube technique. So we print. So this is a lot of printing that we did, and I'm going to demonstrate how I kind of sort of did the patchwork on the wet strength paper. Because the wet strength paper is thin, it's great for gluing, but I'm telling you, it really holds up to being printed and overprinted. So I was working with a really warm color palette and just doing some overprinting and sort of like in a printmaking, a printer's style, so that I have these different color blocks, but they're very interesting. There's a lot going on. It's not just, a solid color. Like you can see here, look at that. That's just really good. Okay, so it's a little old wall. It's a little 1 and 2 color, along with the patchwork. Because like I said before, the book is designed to sort of be a la carte. You're going to learn techniques and then you just keep on adding to them. So we're going to collage in our journal. But before we get to it, I'm going to show you how, I've got a couple of sheets here. I'm going to show you how I kind of worked this technique, which we definitely want our plate to build up for sure. And so part of it, of course, is sort of this kind of painterly style of working and kind of moving color around the plate. And I've got a good layer of paint on, more than probably I normally would when I'm just kind of creating an actual print that I want to pull off of the gel plate. And the reason for that is that on the wet strength, it just puts down a really nice layer of color, and the wet strength is able to really handle the moisture that comes through. So we'll put that down. I like to let that sit for a while, so I'm gonna have a little bit of my coffee. And even though it's on this tissue paper and I'm letting it sit, it's gonna pull right off. It allows for some absorption to start into the paper. So we get a good first layer like that. And then what happens is we still have some down here, right? So I'm gonna go to like a burnt sienna. I find this brown background really does just add a different kind of depth to the same color palette. And let me get another sheet. I don't know, it's like that burnt umber. It's almost kind of like it's got a pink tone to it or something. It's really pretty in this aura. But you know, any paints that you have are going to be great. What I also do is I brayer off. So that way I'm cleaning my plate, but I'm also beginning to add another dimension of patchworking. So, you know, it's kind of like we can patchwork on the plate like we did last week and put it on the foundations. We can also patchwork using the plate and using the brayer. So using other tools to lay down color blocks that will, you know, allow us to create sort of a patchwork feel to our work. Okay, so here we are. We have a nice, another layer, and you see how that brown really starts popping through. Now I still have some good stuff down here, so I'm going to go for this Naples yellow, and that's going to allow my palette to get a little brighter. And so we can now take and put that down. I'm going to layer it next to this one. And since I have this at the top, I can come back and maybe take and put some of this across the top there. And that'll create a color block on that piece. So you can kind of do it the same way that we did worked. So you see, you start getting this kind of thing where, you know, you keep on printing and overprinting, and you start getting these neat variations that make really good collage material. And especially if we're thinking about like it's sort of an abstract collage in our journals, this really starts giving us a lot of paper. So you see that? That's good stuff. Nice. So you can see the whole piece. A lot of good variation. Okay, so now I still have a little bit more here. So let's go with, I have this blue-green, this phthalo green. Let's put some of that down with, let's use some of this yellow. Get a kind of cool mixture there. Okay. So let's go ahead and put some of this down. And I do still overlap from the color before. I try to overlap it. And then let's go here and put some of this at the bottom. I think I could stand to cut another. Also, by the way, this weekend is the first Friday sale, and I did put up this wet strength paper in packs of 20 sheets. You can see how big the paper is. It's like 20 by 28 or something like that. So I know Friday would have already started, so there probably isn't any left. But generally that kind of stuff goes fast, and I was doing it so that you all don't have to spend $100 for, you know, a whole box of it. I mean, some of you have, and that's great. I know some of you don't want to, so I've been packaging it up smaller. Well, I just started this month to help with that, so everybody can experience the wet strength. Oh, look at that. That's good. So see how we've got that extra color going on? Oh, love it. And since we have that, let's just go ahead and put some at the top here. But if not, I'll try to make it a regular part of my first Fridays, the wet strength and the unbleached calligraphy paper, because I can't find that anywhere anymore. I had to go and actually connect with a distributor and buy a bunch of it, because it was just nearly impossible to find any longer on, oh, that's good. Well, let me see. Stop that. That's good enough there. Let's grab this. Okay, so we see we have that. So, let me just go ahead and, I still have that there, so I want to get some more of that. So I think I'll just do a little bit across there. And then let's grab some of this here. And just kind of, see, I'm just sort of grabbing it and patchworking it, even from that little piece that's at the top there. Okay. So you see how we just pick all that extra up? The last thing I'm going to show you that I like to do, sort of to harmonize the palette, I'll use some titanium white. And get a good layer of it down. You can use any white. I'm just using a titanium because it gives a little bit more coverage. The zinc is a little bit more opaque, but all of it's good. So like what I would do is kind of going across this way. I would put a bit of that down there, here. Where do I want to put that? Maybe I'll put some here. So I'm kind of starting to use the white as a way to break up. See that? So it begins to break up some of that pattern, which is nice. Let's get a little here. So, we can just kind of start patchworking this white in. And what it's going to do is it's breaking up the pattern so that I can go in and actually pull some of that color to work with and still have a lot of my other color around it. See that? So let's go down here and grab this. So you just kind of use white to kind of push some of the color back, and also you're just accenting your palette so that it'll start giving some. So if I cut this, I could literally cut this bit here, and I've got this nice white in there, or here, or maybe I just only want to cut a little bit of the white on there. You see what I'm saying? So you kind of want to come back and thinking about using that white in that way. Yeah, see how I'm picking up some of that green that was down there before, and getting some good stuff. So we'll be back for the collaging part of it. Right, see you in a bit. Okay, so now let's get ready to start collaging. So I pulled a couple of contrast sheets that I wanted to work with. And let me go ahead and open my journal. I'm going to use my glue stick for this. Let me pull all the papers I've printed. And I'm kind of going to audition based upon what I'm seeing in front of me. See how, what I like about this is we literally can put a whole piece down, because I'm going to color block with large versus the smaller ones like we did here. I'm going to work with larger sections with these. So they have this sort of mono printed kind of look, but and then we can add to it. So I'm going to start off kind of figuring out which one I want to start with. You can see this has a lot of high contrast, which is really nice. So that could be a good piece that would lay down. And then I would come back with maybe something like this to kind of put a section down. That's even good like that. And then color block the bottom. Okay, so that's an option. That's nice too. I feel like this is nice, but I feel like it's not as bold. So these would be good pieces to kind of add in and maybe create a textural story in some of the areas that we want to be able to put it down. You know, where we want to be able to, where the places that are left, we want to, oh boy, collage over top of, sorry, I'm not using my big girl words. That's a good one for that kind of thing too. I like this one too. See, we've got a lot of contrast there. So that means I could come back with a color block over there. That's nice. And then I'm not going to use 2 bits of scripting. I think that's too much. That yellow looked better with this other one, which was, I think it was this one. What was the first one? Where is the first one? I think it was this one, because I thought that would look good here. So you can kind of see how you can start playing with these pieces. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit the first one and then come back. So I feel like I'm going to go with this one. I think those tones, like I feel like it makes a nice transition. And yeah. And then this could fit in there. And then I'm still going to put something along the bottom here, right? So let's get, even be able to color block some of that in is kind of cool. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off first by, oops, getting this sort of where I want it. I think I'm going to, I should be able to rip this. So let's start first with that. Should be able to rip it a little bit. I want to get sort of a straight edge that I can put across. This is not the way it likes to tear, so I'm going to cut it. It's got a grain, this paper, which is really interesting. So it's like fabric in a way. It tears with the grain, but it doesn't, it tears against the grain. Not that good. And I'm cutting it because this is the kind of edge I want to have. But, you know, you could decide you want to rip yours. And so I'm going to do down here. I want to go ahead and get rid of this extra paper because since we're gluing this down, I kind of want to have it as I want us to have it as translucent as possible. So I don't really want to, when I put the next color down, I don't want it to have to fight through a layer of color. I want it to just kind of lay against the page. Or lay over another color and you should be able to see through it. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of. So I liked this general shape here. And it allows me to work with on the page. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue it down here. Like that. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, we like that. And see, we already got this, just a different way to experience the idea of a quilt or patchwork, you know, more so. So I think what I need to do is I'm going to really need to get the glue on this surface because this piece is really big, and if I try to glue it, it's going to just kind of roll up on me. So I'll get a good amount here. And go ahead and get it in the seams good so it'll stick down. And we need it on this side. Doesn't matter, the whole piece is going to get glued, so it doesn't matter if you get a little glue outside of your first sheet. You're just going to keep on building on it. So the main thing is to make sure you just have good coverage. Try not to, try not to miss any pieces, any sections on the paper. So really kind of look even sideways so you can sort of see where, where your glue is. Alrighty, that should do it. Now this is going to be pretty sticky. I'm going to stand up. So I kind of want to get this. I want to get it to the top and to the edge. So I'm going to make sure that I'm all the way to the edge and that my color is going all the way to the top like that. And then secure it in the center here. And you kind of want to work from the middle out. And that way you work any air bubbles out. And then we don't get any bubbling in the center there where the page is going to ultimately fold. And you won't get ripping either. So just work out to that far edge, and then we have it. You could also use your bone folder, but this paper, this wet strength, is just so easy to work with. You can really use your finger to get it down. Okay, so that's the first bit, which is just, look at that, that's just so good. Alrighty, then the next piece I want to figure out is what I'm going to put here. So I'll put that strip down. So I need it about to here. Probably get a little bit of overlapping. And I want to get this edge off. I'm going to use this whole strip because I just sort of see it as a strip, but you could just use a piece of it too. I don't want it to end. Maybe I'll put it down there. And then have an opportunity for something else to go up the top there. So and then down here. That way my color block won't be so even because I'm going to be putting something down here. So it allows me to break it up a little bit more in this color blocking process. That's just kind of how I'm seeing the collage. So when you're working, just always kind of look at the overall pattern that you're doing or the overall feel of your work. Okay, so let's put this down here and then work up. And there we have it. Yeah, that's good. So we're seeing that. I like that. And now let's go back to like a piece like this that I thought would be good for, but maybe it's too close in color. So let me see what else I have. Maybe I want to just create a little bit more variation, like that white and green might be good right there. Like that piece. Because it kind of continues the white. But I also have this piece as well, which kind of introduces that bit of yellow. I like that. I think we'll go with that yellow because I feel like it just gives a brightness there that we could use. Okay, so let's cut that. So you see what happens here when you have these pieces done like this. It just allows you to just pull bits, because you never know what you're going to need until you need it, right? So color blocking like that on this tissue paper really does allow you to, okay, that's great. Allow, you know, for the creative process to flow with regards to your collage. And just have all this great collage paper to work with. So that's a little bit over the top. And I'll be able to, once all this dries, you can come back and cut it all off. I don't normally do it until it's done. Oh, I love that. So you see what we have here? That's that, we needed that. So let's figure out what we're going to do along the bottom here. I feel like I want to go with a more brown or darker piece like I had created, but where is it? Oh, maybe right here. I have these things spread all over the floor. That piece is good. But maybe this piece here. I like, yeah, see this right here. That whole piece gives us some variety right across. So let me cut it large enough. And in this process, you can cut it so that they may overlap a little bit over what you've put down. That's fine. I think I'll flip it this way and put the brown. Do I want the brown there? Or do I want it here? I like it like that because you really can see the color blocking there. Yep. Okay. So what I need to do is I'm going to patch this. I'm not going to put the whole strip across. I'm going to get this one here. So we can still do this cutting where we're getting like a definite kind of grid. Something like that. So that one go in there. Yeah, we like that. So let's go ahead and get some. I already have some glue, but in order for it to really stick, let's get more glue down there. Okay. I was just double checking if I wanted to put it a different way, but I'm good with it like this. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. And then we have this piece. So let's figure out, I'm going to cut this so that it overlaps. So we want this here. I feel like I really want that hard line. So let's just go ahead and cut this down first. Okay. So you can see the benefits of putting your paper down like this. So now I still want to get that original line here. So I've kind of got it stuck down a little bit. I'm just going to do that and do this. So I sort of get that original shape that I had created, and it just adds to our collage, so everything doesn't look like it's square, square, square. You know, we're really breaking up that pattern to give it some interest. And this is what we're doing over in Patreon as well. I'm doing what I'm calling Tamashii Collage Project 2024. So let's get this piece down. We have another piece I want to put in there. So I've got to decide what I want that piece to be and how I want it to be shaped. Because I have that little bit of white there, so that little L shape. And let's figure out what we're going to do in there. If I'm going to put a solid piece, if I'm going to let me look around. Let's audition some of our pieces. So we have that. You know, maybe a little bit of that yellow with a little bit of stripping on it would be nice, because it won't be too much. It won't be too much, but yet it'll kind of inform what's going on there. I could just put the tiniest piece, or you know, I also had that piece that was like this. Maybe I'll do this one. Because, yeah, that's what I'll do. See that little hint? It's a hint of a shape. But it's not as bold and as strong as that or the yellow. Oh, that's perfect. We can put that right in there like that. I like that. It just gives an extra little bit of... So let's cut all this extra off. That goes... Let me see. I'm going to keep the shape of the block because I don't want it to... This is... There's a lot of different ways to approach your collage. This one, because I'm inspired by patchwork, I kept everything more geometric. So a lot of times, I mean, there are times where I'll take geometric shapes and then mix them with organic or with torn. You know, like every collage will kind of speak for it itself, or like based on what your inspiration is. But since this is like patchwork quilt and we're using the inspiration in the book between chapter 6 and 7, which was about intuitive collage or after the patchwork, I kind of wanted to keep that going. So I want everything to be this sort of square, you know, or linear shape. There you go. Versus a torn organic edge. So you can see that. So we are done. Look at this though. See, this is really, it's a lot of fun. And each of these pages are so different from the other. And this just goes to show you what the techniques, changing our techniques and focusing on different things on the gel plate really just puts together a whole vocabulary of looks. You know, like like every gel print, one of the things that I strive for as an artist and as a working artist, as a fine artist, that is exhibited and sell work, I want to, I have my sort of genre, my look, like you might want to say, but I strive that I can use the same technique but not have it look the same. And I hope that's something I really get across this year as we're working together on the gel plate. There's a lot of amazing, techniques out there, and it's a lot of amazing artists showing their techniques. What I am as a working artist and as a teacher, my thing has always been to work with students, see what their techniques are, what their language is, what their art mythos is, and then show them how to get better within their language. So when we're done, your work is never going to look like mine, right? Because I'm going to show you a lot of different ways to approach the techniques that you can develop your own voice, your own language. So, which is why a lot of my videos, I show you guys a lot of different things, because that's my goal. I don't want you, when you're done, because you're not going to feel the best about that either. You want to look at your work and say, yes, this is mine. Not, yeah, I like this. It looks like Robin's. I love her work. But, and you're like, still doesn't feel like mine. And so that's what this journey is all about. And if I can show you all the ways to use a gel plate and create different techniques, different looks, then you'll settle in on what you like or what combinations you like to put together. But certainly, if we go through our book and we look at all what we've already done, it looks like my work, right? But it's really different. And that's just because we've done different combinations of techniques to get there. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you've enjoyed this session. And continue to work in your journal, and you could keep on building up pieces. Not that I'm gonna put that there, but I mean you could literally continue to take strips and add to it. So it doesn't have to stop there. But I like where we are right now, so I'm gonna stop right there because I had this idea for this to sort of be this real large color blocked kind of page. Love you all. Please remember to thumb up the video if you enjoyed this. Also, if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe and join our community. We have an amazing community of artists and creatives over here. We do this hangout every Saturday premiere, where you get over there and we chat. You may find someone in your local area that's a gel printing or book enthusiast or collage enthusiast, and you guys can meet for coffee and things like that. That happens all the time. So make sure that you jump in Premiere, you get to meet others. And I guess that's everything. We're going to call this video done. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Have a great week. And until next Saturday, happy creating. Bye-bye.